Just going to have a little flight now with the UMX Timber. Great little plane. What we got there? It's just a piece of cardboard. There's a lot of bugs around now. I can see the bugs everywhere. Gosh, flying in my face and everything. Yeah, winds died down again a bit now, but it was getting up. It may get up again, but this guy can handle quite a lot of wind. I maiden this guy in a strong, fairly strong wind, and he's fine with it, really. I mean, anything we're going to get now, he's fine with. I mean, I wouldn't fly him in a howling gale or whatever. The wind, such as it is coming from that way. Now, he has these big, for sort of the size of plane, he has tundra tires, so he should take off okay on from the grass. Do we really need flaps? This has flaps. I don't really see why it needs flaps, to be perfectly honest, but since they're there, we might as well put them on, I suppose. Got to get it moving over the grass. There we go.
Flaps up.
No real need for the flaps in the first place, really. I possibly still like the UMX J3 Club the best of all the UMX planes, but this guy's pretty darn good as well. It depends what you want. This guy does have stabilization. Well, the J3 Club has AS3X, but it doesn't have safe mode.
Experienced mode.
Yeah, we got. This guy has safe, which I actually had turned on there. The J3 Club doesn't. It doesn't. Well, I was going to say it doesn't really need it. It is a 4-channel plane. I mean, both of them are. No flaps on the J3 Cub, doesn't really need them. I fly the J3 Cub with floats on it pretty much all the time because it will fly on the grass with the floats, whereas it has fairly small wheels and won't fly on the grass with wheels. This guy, on the other hand, has tundra tires, scale tundra tires, so they're still fairly small, but they will, as you can see, they will fly on the grass, so I leave the wheels on him. I got floats for him. Well, he takes the same floats as the UMX J3 Clubs, that same little float set. I think they originally called them UMX Carbon Cub floats because they brought them out for the UMX Carbon Cub originally, I think. Whatever, it's the same float set that you can put on virtually everything. This, the UMX J3 Cub, the little, little Sport Cub, the Cessna. I've got a set that live all the time on the J3 Cub, and the Cessna's got a set on at the moment. I think I've had them on the little Sport Cub, but I don't think they're on it at the moment. He's a bit underpowered. He's like the Sport Cub. The little Sport Cub's only got a brushed motor, one-cell brush motor. He's a little bit underpowered to fly with the floats, really. This thing, on the other hand, has a 2-cell brushless motor. The bird following me there. Does it think I'm a predator or a potential mate or what? I don't know. It's certainly following me though, isn't it? Now it's given up now. I don't know what it thought I was. If they think you're a predator, well, you'll see those little birds, they'll fly right at a predator to try and drive it away from their nest. You quite often see that little 1 or 2 or 3 little birds flying at a predator trying to make it go away because they don't want it swooping down and stealing their chicks and whatever. And it can't really, well, it depends what kind of predator it is, but I guess generally they can't attack them in the air. Still wasn't very neat, but it was better than what I was doing with the other cub. Yeah, wind caught me a bit there anyway. Let's try again. Not too bad. And this guy's got proportionally a lot more power for his size than the S2 Sport Cub. He's got quite a bit of power for his size, this guy. And lots of lift. And unlike the big timber, he doesn't have slats. Well, actually, no, I shouldn't say that. It's entirely a question of the way I've got it installed. He does come with slats, and the big timber comes with slats. And in both cases, they're optional. It's just that I chose to install the slats on the big timber, whereas I chose not to install the slats on this guy, having seen that, you know, I mean, they give it more lift, so you get that short takeoff and landing effect more. But then you can't do other things. You know, he's just got like a lot of lift whether you want him to or not, which impedes other kind, and more drag as well, which impedes other maneuverability. So on the whole, I felt, with this guy, I felt it was going to be better to leave the slats off. I've seen people flying them with the slats. When I was at the float fly, I was flying this guy on the floats, and there was a young chap who had one that he got the slats on with the floats. And I mean, yeah, it pulls up out the water nicely and all that. But this pulled up fine without the slats. It's got flaps anyway. Doesn't even really need flaps. But I'm going to put the stabilization on back to land. It doesn't really need it, but you know, if there's a gust of wind, it's quicker than I am.
Safe mode.
It's quicker than I am. And I'm not, you know, I don't try to prove anything here. Although I would like to land this guy without flipping him. Although, mind you, that's a bit hard to do because he's kind of small. Well, we're going to be better if we go into the wind, aren't we? See, he's very maneuverable. But that doesn't mean to say I can contrive
Time
to...
remaining 1 minute.
Yeah, I know. There you go. That was a decent landing.
Throttle cut on.
That was a decent landing. And he is a small plane. It's a very nice plane. Oh, as you can see, the lights stand out because it's still not all that light, even though the sun's up. Beautiful plane. Flies great. I certainly would have no problem at all recommending this to virtually anybody, really. I mean, with a safe mode on, a beginner could fly it. Good, reasonable 4-channel trainer with a safe mode on, and with a safe mode off, it's got lots of power. It can fly in quite a bit of wind. It's capable of aerobatics. It does short takeoff and landing. Those are the you know, these things along the frontier are where the slats glue on, but they do glue on, so you can't readily put them on and take them off again, because once you put them on, they're glued on. So, generally speaking, I decided to leave them off, this guy, and I think that was the right decision. Beautiful little plane, though, highly recommended. But well, it's absolutely highly recommended. The only slight caveat is, you know, you can look at the J3 Cub and decide which is best for you, because the J3 Cub is also a terrific little plane, the UMX J3 Cub. And if anything, as I say, that's probably, I've had it for longer, and that's sort of still probably my first love, kind of. But this guy's a great little plane, highly recommended for sure.